Welcome back, everyone. Today, we'll be taking a deep dive into The Greatness Mindset by Lewis Howes. We're going to explore the heart of this idea, how it works, and how it can benefit you.
Sounds interesting. It's great that Howe shares his own experiences to make it relatable.
Yeah, he starts with this incredible but tough story. Imagine being an all-American athlete, living the dream, playing pro football, and then boom, a broken wrist ends it all.
Wow.
Suddenly, he's broke on his sister's couch, filled with self-doubt. It really makes you think, how do we go from a setback like that to having a greatness mindset?
It's important to understand how people respond to tough times.
Right.
Often after trauma, we get stuck in negativity, and that can really stop us from growing. But Howe's did something different.
Oh, yeah.
He actively learned new things like salsa dancing, public speaking, and even mastering LinkedIn. He didn't just sit around. He took action to rebuild his life.
That's so important, this idea of taking action.
Yeah.
But was it just about those new skills, or was there something deeper pushing him?
It's about recognizing that we often focus on the negative after trauma. It's like our brains kind of get stuck there and it limits our choices.
Makes sense.
Howes recognized this and chose to fight those negative thoughts. He took action even when it was hard, and that started to change his mindset.
So even when it's tough, taking action can help us break free from those negative patterns.
Exactly. And it's not always about doing it alone. Howes talks about his mentor who encouraged him to write a book, about LinkedIn, even though Howes didn't think he was a good writer.
That brings up the whole idea of mentors and support systems.
Hmm.
I mean, could he have done it without that encouragement? How do we find those people who can help us go further than we think we can?
This is where the greatness mindset goes beyond just skills. It's about knowing we don't have to do everything ourselves. Having those mentors, coaches, or even friends who believe in us can give us a push to do things we never thought possible.
Like having a cheering section pushing you forward.
Right. Exactly. And speaking of achieving things, House's book about LinkedIn became a success, but then something unexpected happened. He achieved his goal, but he felt like something wasn't right, like it wasn't truly what he wanted.
I think a lot of people feel that way, hitting a target but still feeling empty. How do we deal with that? Can we ever really feel fulfilled?
This is where House talks about having a meaningful mission. It's about connecting our actions to a purpose that's bigger than ourselves.
This meaningful mission, it's a powerful idea. But how do we find ours? Do we discover it, create it? And how's it different from just setting regular goals?
Well, that's the interesting part. It's a journey of figuring out who you are and what you want to create. It's about doing things that match your values, what you're passionate about, and finding a purpose that makes you truly excited to get up in the morning. It's not just ticking off a to-do list. It's about doing something that makes you feel truly alive. It really changes things, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Going from chasing success to finding a path that truly matters to us.
it does. It makes you wonder about what we consider success. How much of it is from what other people think, and how much is from what actually makes us happy.
House talks about this. He says that sometimes we end up on paths that don't fit us because of what society tells us to do. We might achieve those things, but we still feel empty inside.
I think a lot of people feel that way, like they're stuck on a treadmill, working towards goals that don't really mean anything to them, like they're chasing someone else's idea of success. So how do we get off that treadmill?
It takes courage to stop and ask ourselves why we're doing what we're doing. House gives an example from his own life. He was making money with his LinkedIn business, but he realized it wasn't making him happy.
It's impressive that he was willing to walk away from something that was working just because it didn't feel right. That shows real self-awareness.
It does. And it highlights a big part of the greatness mindset, being okay with changing direction. House says it's not about sticking to a plan no matter what, but being open to changing our goals as we learn and grow.
So it's more about exploring and letting our dreams change along the way. Not about knowing everything from the start, but being open to trying different things as we figure things out.
Exactly. And part of that exploration means facing our fears. House talks about three main fears that hold us back: fear of failure, fear of success, and fear of what other people think.
I think we've all felt those fears at some point. They're just part of being human. What does Howes say we can do about them? Are there any practical things we can try to overcome them?
He talks about both changing our mindset and using practical strategies. For fear of failure, he says to see it as a chance to learn. Instead of seeing setbacks as defeats, we can use them to improve and eventually reach our goals.
That's a great way to look at it.
Hmm.
It makes failing less scary. It becomes a step forward instead of a stop sign.
Yeah. And when it comes to fear of success, House says it often comes from a scarcity mindset, the belief that there's not enough for everyone or that we don't deserve good things.
Interesting. I never thought about the fear of success coming from that kind of thinking.
It's actually pretty common and can really sabotage us. House says we should focus on an abundance identity, which means focusing on what we can create and give instead of what we don't have.
So instead of seeing limits, we see possibilities. That sounds like a powerful shift.
It is. And for fear of judgment, House says we should question whether those judgments are even true. He reminds us that they often come from other people's insecurities or limited views.
That's freeing.
Yeah.
We don't have to let those judgments control our choices.
Right. True greatness is about making choices based on our own values, not what other people think.
It all comes back to trusting ourselves, doesn't it? Making decisions that feel right to us.
It does. That self-trust is key to building a greatness mindset. Howes emphasizes that it's not about being perfect, but about always trying to learn and grow.
So it's not about trying to be some ideal version of ourselves, but embracing the messy process of becoming who we're meant to be.
Yeah. And he doesn't just give us big ideas. Howes actually gives us concrete steps to cultivate this greatness mindset.
Yeah.
He talks about exercises and practices that can help us change our thinking and take action towards growth.
That's what I like about his approach. It's not just feel-good stuff. He gives us real tools we can use. What are some of those exercises he talks about?
Well, he has a bunch of them. One is called the doubt diagram, which helps us break down and challenge those doubts that hold us back. Another is the magic minimization formula for dealing with worry and anxiety. He even talks about healing from past trauma to get rid of limiting beliefs.
That's so important, the trauma part. Trauma can really affect our beliefs, emotions, and choices, even years later.
Definitely. And Howes knows that healing isn't always easy or straightforward. It takes courage, kindness to ourselves, and sometimes professional help. He gives us ways to handle this, like building strong relationships, becoming more self-aware, and practicing self-care. It's about creating a base of strength and resilience that can help us as we go after our meaningful mission.
And speaking of that meaningful mission, Howes has a unique take on it. He says it's not a fixed destination, but something that changes as we change.
Right, it's like a compass directing us, not a specific spot on a map. The direction can change as we grow and discover new things about ourselves.
That's really freeing. It means we're not stuck with one idea of success, but can explore and decide what fulfillment means for us.
It is, and that exploration often means going beyond what's comfortable for us. Howes encourages us to see challenges as chances to grow, knowing that they can make us stronger, help us learn new things, and expand what we're capable of.
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But instead of just surviving challenges, we use them to become better.
Exactly. He says it's important to take action, even if it's not perfect. It's better to do something than to overthink and get stuck.
It's about making progress, not being perfect, right? Every step, even a small one, moves us closer to where we want to be.
Yeah. And as we keep moving forward, Howes reminds us to celebrate our wins, no matter how big or small.
It's so easy to focus on what's next and forget to appreciate what we've already done. Celebrating our achievements, even the little ones, seems really important for staying motivated and feeling good about ourselves.
It is, and celebrating can look different for everyone. It might be recognizing a personal victory, being thankful for supportive people, or just taking a moment to appreciate how far we've come.
It's about seeing the whole journey as something to celebrate, not just the end goal.
Exactly. And that can make us more resilient when we face tough times, knowing that we have inner strength and self-belief to help us through. And talking about support, Howes emphasizes being around mentors, coaches, and people who hold us accountable. He talks about the positive impact of having people who believe in us, push us to grow, and encourage us.
I get that. Having a good support network can make us feel like we belong, that we're on the right track, and it helps us stay committed. It's like having a team cheering us on and guiding us.
Yes. Just like athletes have coaches to help them improve, House suggests finding guidance and mentorship from people who have already achieved what we want to achieve. Mentors can offer valuable advice, share their experiences, and help us see things from a new angle.
It's like having a map from someone who's already been through the territory. But it's not just about getting guidance, right? Howes also talks about giving back, being a mentor to others, and supporting them on their journeys.
He does. He says that sharing what we know and helping others can be incredibly rewarding and give us a stronger sense of purpose. It's a cycle of getting support and then giving it back, creating a ripple effect of positivity.
And those ripples can make a huge difference, not just for individuals, but for communities and even the world. It's amazing to think about how our efforts to build a greatness mindset can inspire and uplift others.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that what we do can create positive change. and contribute to a collective legacy of greatness.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what stands out to you as the most important part of the greatness mindset?
For me, it's the focus on personal responsibility. Hayes recognizes that we have the power to choose how we react to tough situations, cultivate our mindset, and create a fulfilling life no matter what's going on around us. It's about realizing that greatness isn't just for a lucky few, but is a possibility for all of us.
That's a good point. We do have more control than we think. It's not about pretending challenges don't exist, but choosing how we react to them and creating our own story.
Exactly. It's about taking back our power and owning our journeys, even when things are difficult. And, the more we talk about this greatness mindset, the more I see how it challenges what we usually think of as success.
What do you mean? How is it different from those typical ideas of success we always hear about?
It's not so much about achievements and awards, but more about doing things that align with a deeper purpose and feeling truly fulfilled. It's not just about getting stuff, but about becoming a better version of ourselves along the way.
So it's less about reaching the destination and more about the journey of growing and learning who we are. It makes you think maybe our focus on those outward signs of success makes us miss out on the richness of the journey itself.
You got it. And that journey often involves getting uncomfortable, pushing past our limits, and dealing with our fears. Howes acknowledges that fear can be a powerful motivator, but it can also hold us back if we let it.
Yeah, we've all felt that fear that stops us from doing things. But he talks about turning fear into fuel. That seems kind of backwards. How does that work?
Instead of running away from our fears or trying to bury them, he says we should get to know them, understand where they come from, and use them to help us grow.
So it's like instead of ignoring our fears, we get curious about them and see if they're trying to tell us something important about ourselves.
Right. It's about realizing that fear could mean we're about to do something amazing, something that can help us grow and move towards our meaningful mission.
What about this meaningful mission? How does Howes describe it? Does it have to be about doing something huge that changes the world?
Not necessarily. He says it's about doing something that helps others and makes a difference beyond just ourselves. It's about using our talents and gifts to make a positive impact, leaving something good behind, even after we're gone.
So it's not about ego or personal gain, but about contributing to something bigger than ourselves, whether through our work, relationships, or our community.
Definitely. And that sense of purpose can be really powerful, especially when we're going through tough times or feeling down. It reminds us that what we do matters, that we have something valuable to offer, and that we can create positive change that reaches beyond ourselves.
Like a pebble dropped in a pond, creating ripples that spread out and touch everything.
Exactly. And just like a tree needs care to grow strong, Howes emphasizes self-care as an important part of the greatness mindset. He says we need to take care of our physical, emotional, and spiritual health because we can't give to others if we're depleted ourselves.
That's a good reminder. We often forget about self-care when we're busy, but he's saying it's crucial for keeping up our energy and being our best selves. What are some of the things he suggests for taking care of ourselves?
He recommends a bunch of things like exercising, mindfulness, spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, or just taking time to rest and recharge. It's about paying attention to our bodies, respecting our needs, and finding a balance that supports our overall well-being.
It's about recognizing when we need to refill our energy tanks.
Exactly. When we take care of ourselves, it's not just good for us, it also helps us contribute more to the world around us.
It's like sharpening a tool so it works better. When we take care of ourselves, we become more effective in creating a meaningful and fulfilling life. It's not selfish. It's about empowering ourselves to live with more purpose, passion, and impact.
Well said. It's understanding that we're both the creators and the creations of our own lives. By caring for ourselves, we invest in our ability to create something amazing. And as House says, that something amazing is a life that's not just successful, but significant. A life that reflects our values, inspires others, and leaves a positive mark on the world.
As we finish up our exploration of the greatness mindset, it seems like the main point is that it's not about reaching some impossible ideal, but about embracing the ongoing journey of growth, learning, and giving back.
Absolutely. It's about approaching each day with purpose, courage, and kindness, trying to make a positive difference in every area of our lives.
And celebrating every step we take, knowing that even small actions can create a legacy of greatness that will spread out and touch many lives, making the world a better and more fulfilling place for everyone. To wrap things up, here are 10 key points to remember about the greatness mindset. Number one, it's a journey, not a destination. Embrace the process of growth and self-discovery. Number two, Align your actions with a meaningful mission. Find a purpose that aligns with your values and passions. Number 3, challenge negativity bias. Choose to focus on possibilities, not limitations. Number 4, cultivate an abundance identity. Believe in your potential to create and contribute. Number 5, reframe fear as fuel. Use your fears as opportunities for growth and expansion. Number 6, seek out mentors and support systems. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and challenge you to grow. Number 7, embrace course correction. Be willing to adjust your goals and aspirations as you evolve. Number 8, take action, even imperfectly. Move beyond overthinking and start taking steps towards your goals. Number 9, celebrate your successes. Acknowledge your progress and savor your achievements. And number 10, prioritize self-care. Nourish your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being.
Those are great points to keep in mind as you start your own greatness mindset journey.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. But here's one last thought, Fanya. What's one thing you can do today to cultivate your own greatness mindset? Keep that in mind as you go about your day and see what amazing things happen. Until next time, keep diving deep.